Hello YouTube, how are you all doing today? This is Cheeky Curations here, and I've got another ranking video for you to do. This time we're going to be doing all the Daniel Craig James Bond films from worst to best. I know what you're thinking. There's like 25 James Bond films, why not rank all of them? Well, they're very different films. I feel like each Bond deserves its specific ranking, but we're going to start with Daniel Craig, so let's begin. At the bottom of the list, it's No Time to Die. I didn't think No Time to Die was a bad film. I just felt like it wasn't really needed. I feel like you could take it out of the equation and it would still be a decent Bond saga. I feel like No Time to Die dragged the Daniel Craig Bond films a little bit. I felt like Rami Malek was a bit uninteresting. Didn't really make sense since Madeline Swan and Rami Malek were only a few years apart. And alongside that, I kind of liked how Spectre was building up Lothar to be the big bad of the whole series, and I think No Time to Die kind of cut that all short completely. But saying that though, I do think No Time to Die had some good moments. It had some very good action sequences. I thought Anna de Maris was a very good Bond girl. I liked the beginning introduction scene. I feel like No Time to Die had much better action sequences as compared to Spectre. But still, I thought it was an okay film, just the weakest of all the Daniel Craig ones. Then following that, it's Quantum of Solace. A hot take of mine is I think Quantum of Solace could have been a much better film if it had better writing and a better story. Don't get me wrong, Quantum of Solace had quite a good idea what to do, such as I like the idea of a more vengeful Bond and a more rogue James Bond. It was like he was becoming losing it more after the events of Casino Royale. But the only problem is with Quantum of Solace, it felt more like an epilogue to Casino Royale than a new Bond film. And it was all a bit rushed. But I did have a lot of good moments though. I thought some of the action scenes were quite well done, especially the beginning scene when Bond is in the Aston Martin getting chased by all the bad guys. So yeah, Quantum of Solace is there in that ranking. Number 3, I'm going to say Spectre. When Spectre was first announced, I watched the trailer. I was so hyped up for Spectre. Spectre was probably the time I've been the most hyped for a James Bond film ever because Blofeld was going to come back. They were really building something up and I was so hyped up for it. And, I think it was still a decent film. I think it had some good action sequences. I thought Dave Bautista was a good henchman to contend against Bond because I felt like the Daniel Craig ones didn't really have that henchman that really gave James Bond a run for his money as compared to other previous Bond films, whereas the Roger Moore Bonds, they had Jaws, the Pierce Brosnan Bonds, they had not so much a henchman, but it was more the main bad guy giving Pierce Brosnan problems. And then Sean Connery, they had Odd Job, they also had the blonde guy from Russia with Love. So yeah, it was nice having that henchman to really give Bond a good run for his money. However, though, I think with Spectre, it was a bit underwhelming. There wasn't really a big final showdown as I would hope to see since they were building up to Blofeld for like four films. But still, though, I think Spectre was an okay Bond film. Number 2, Skyfall. Skyfall was very good. I liked Skyfall a lot. I thought Javier Bardem was the best Bond villain we've ever had in the entirety of the James Bond films. I liked how he was kind of a double O agent that got turned on, similar-ish to what happens to Daniel Craig's James Bond at the beginning of the film. It's kind of having these two sides of the same coin going against each other, and it put a bit of a bad picture onto M, James Bond's boss at the time. And Skyfall, I thought, was really good. It kind of had some of the best action scenes any Bond film has had. And yeah, I just liked Skyfall overall, and Adele did a very good job doing the Bond song for Skyfall. It's actually one of my favorite songs of all time. And then finally, number 1, best Bond film of all time, Casino Royale. Casino Royale reinvented James Bond because I feel like the Pierce Brosnan Bond films were very action-heavy focused. Roger Moore, there was a bit more of a kind of underdog story and a bit more targeted to more younger audiences with all the gadgets and that. Sean Connery had some grittiness, but there was a bit of Roger Moore in him, like in the case of with all the gadgets and the fun stuff. And Timothy Dalton was a bit more of a realistic Bond, but didn't really push that boundary as compared to Casino Royale, which made James Bond more gritty. Like the intro scene in Casino Royale is one of my favorite introductions to a movie ever. Like how James Bond gets his 00. That was a really good intro sequence. I thought it was a good new take instead of having Bond do what a previous Bonds do, infiltrate the base, take down the bad guy. He has to play a game of poker and cards to try and beat the villains with action scenes taking place here and there. It made Daniel Craig's James Bond a lot more of a realistic James Bond and what 00 agent would be like in real life if they did exist. So yeah, Casino Royale is number 1 in my list. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you all have a good day. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos. Bye.